So my hands were sweaty. Uh, I could barely talk. My brains froze, and I was so afraid. That was the feeling when I had when I was presented with the opportunity so as to leave the company. I still remember to this day what I felt when my boss gave me the letter told me to maybe the letter to separate me and the organization. It's a VSS. And I still remembered how my boss called me about 4 or 5 times asking me whether I was sure I wanted to leave the organization. And to that, I remembered I kept saying yes. And he asked me again whether I wanted to leave. And I kept saying yes. And he asked me the third time whether I wanted to leave. And to that, I said yes. So that was, I still remember vividly why, or the feelings and the emotions and how afraid I was when I kept saying yes towards leaving the organization, towards freedom, towards creating passions to profit. But at the same time, I was working for the same organization for about 15 years. And that is a very long time. And I built, I guess, my identity around the company. I was a vice president, and I worked really high up in the organization. And with a certain rank, you have certain perks, and people view you a certain way. And for me to say no to all of that and to follow my heart is what this episode is all about. How to change, or how to chase your passion, or how to turn your passion into profits. So again, just a quick introduction. My name is Adnan Hasbi, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Rambling of an Analyst. And one of the reasons why I think chasing your passions is very important is that I still remember many years ago when I graduated and I asked around what job should I take. I remembered a lot of my relatives were saying, be an accountant. And to that, I did become an accountant. And while I was an accountant, and if some of you may know that I'm a bit dyslexic, so when it comes to numbers, it was very difficult for me to understand what numbers to put where. And I would spend hours and hours and hours looking at the trial balance. Basically, it's what is as per what the document is called. You have to make sure that the trial balance is always balanced. But when it came to my hand, I had this ability to make things unbalanced. And I think a lot of my seniors even questioned whether I wanted to work in the organization. A lot of them were asking me as to whether I enjoyed the job. And I remembered that when they questioned me whether I was focused, whether I could work, I remembered I spent so many hours grinding, and yet my results were not the best. And that ate into my confidence. And bit by bit, I just, I felt very lost. And I think one day I had enough of doubting myself. I had enough of questioning what is what. I just decided to follow what my heart told me, which is I've always loved investing. I think as some of you may know, I started investing when I was 16 years old. It's such a wonderful feeling. It's such a wonderful feeling putting 100 ringgit. And maybe after 3 or 4 months, you see that amount growing to maybe 120 or 130 ringgit. I still remember the excitement, the love I had, and the joy I have every time when I see an investment grow. And that's one of the reasons why, from an accountant, I wanted to be an analyst. But this is, I think, lesson number one. Okay, when I told my dad I wanted to be an analyst, he tried to talk me out of it. I think one of the reasons why is I think he saw me grow up. Number one, he saw me struggling in kindergarten. Number two, even for my SPM, I almost failed. And when I went to university, I almost got kicked out. But despite all of that, I was so stubborn. I wanted to be an analyst. I just wanted to follow my dreams. So I knocked at every door, at every opportunity where they were hiring financial analysts. And you know what, guys? I had 2 job offers. And that is the power of persistence. If you are persistent enough, if you fight for what you want, you will definitely get what you want. I think this is a very important story right now. One of the reasons why is that when we look around us, we see a lot of negative news, and we can see a lot of friends which are complaining, and and it eats into us. But having said that, if we look at entrepreneurs, okay, so lately I've been looking at 3 entrepreneurs, and this is what I do every morning when I wake up. I just want to share with you guys, is that I would listen to a biography or listen to an interview for an entrepreneur. And these 3 entrepreneurs were, let me just share this quick story with you, is Tony Fernandez. And one of the reasons why I like listening to him is that he believed in his dream, and he wanted to invest in his dream. And he had this really, really cool belief that, we only live once. We don't want to turn 55 and look back and regret not taking the few steps. So when I saw him build AirAsia, and at that point in time, there were Mars and also SIA. AirAsia was a very small company, and Mars and SIA had a lot of resources. And AirAsia managed to fight these 2 people, and they just kept on growing and growing and growing. And today, they are one of the top airlines in the world, pre the pandemic. Okay. The second person which I'd like to share with you about is, Richard Branson. He is relatively dyslexic, and he grew up not knowing how to read numbers. And despite all of the setbacks, he built multiple companies. He built an airline. He built a record company. And I think this is the lesson I wanted to impart with you guys. Thanks for the thumbs up, by the way. This is the lesson I want to impart with you guys, is that entrepreneurs, they are just human beings, just like you and me, they are no different. They have 24 hours in a day, they have certain abilities, and like I said, if you look at Richard Branson, he does not have the ability to kind of read numbers, and yet he persevered, he pushed himself, he built many, many businesses, and today he's a billionaire. So this is a lesson I want to impart. If you have a dream, protect it. If you have a dream, go for it. Hey Daniel, thanks for the remark. I'll answer that question in a bit with regards to AirAsia. Anyway, Daniel, top fan right now. The second thing which I want to say is that so if you have a dream, go for it. The second thing I want to say is that I think, as you guys can see, one of the ways of building wealth, and this is the most important lesson which I learned the past couple of days, is that you have to trust yourself. You really have to trust yourself. An example of this is that I'm sure you can see my little portfolio, right? When you first join this particular channel, you could see that I invested in Perak Transit. And my investment in Perak Transit, we can see that it translated to a 55% gain, right? The irony is I only invested below 100 ringgit in that particular stock, okay? And despite me finding a great stock, I invested very little. One of the reasons why I did not trust myself, okay? And I think in your heart, hearts of hearts, on what to do next. But the problem, I guess, with us Asians is we tend to listen to mom, dad, friends, and at the end of it all, I noticed that a lot of my friends in the banking industry, they are living in this circle of not knowing what they want. They are really relatively unhappy, and what it is that they're just, and they're not, I guess, leveraging on their gift. So when you trust yourself enough, when you leverage on your gifts, that's where amazing things will happen. And if you can see, right now, after the Perak Transit thing, I started I started doing exercises to start believing in myself. Right now, I invested in Maybank, and you can see Maybank within 2 months, it went up to 17%. That is the most amazing thing. For me at least. You can see that I've already taken out my money in all the robo-advisory platforms, and later I'm going to start taking away some money from my peer-to-peer lending platforms. I'll show you how in a couple of episodes later. So I guess that's number 2. You have to trust yourself. Only you know what's the right action to do, right? Okay, so I actually have notes for this. I kind of pen down everything. Okay, I think one of the reasons why I came out today is that I was talking to a couple of subs within this channel. Some of the subs, they are, they're not working right now, and some of the other subs, they are students, and some of the other subs, they just don't know what to do. I think for this, I just want to tell you that yes, I do feel afraid. Yes, I do struggle. Yes, before every episode, I feel this phobia. I get this cold. I get, my lips just get stuck. Yes, I feel, but despite all of that, I fight all of the fear. So what I want to say over here is that every time when you fight fear, right, when you do something you're afraid of, you will increase your comfort zone. And when you increase your comfort zone, amazing things will happen. So I know a couple of you guys, you want to open an account, but you still don't know how, you're still stuck with regards to opening an account. And some of you are maybe struggling with regards to, what stocks to invest in, right? Over here, I just want to tell you that I'm like you guys. I'm also in this journey of learning and improving myself. I think towards the end of the day, I want to say that the more you improve, that's where you make better decisions. And I just want to share with you guys this particular journey. Yes, I do struggle. Yes, I have a lot of insecurities. And yes, despite me finding great stocks, I invested so little in that particular stock. So yeah, I'm in this journey with you guys also. Right now, I'm trusting myself a bit more, and I'm investing more and more money in my stock picks. Okay, I think for you guys also, there's going to be fear, there's going to be a bit of anxiety, but trust me, when you guys take action, you will feel a sense of relief. You feel that you have a sense of accomplishment, and you feel that you have moved one step closer, right? I think, that's about it. I just want to apologize that should I have made any mistakes in, in my episodes. I know I'm not the most polished. I know I come out at random times of the day. I know that, but what it is I'm slowly increasing my comfort zone. And I want to tell you that I'm in this journey with you guys too. If you guys feel alone in the struggle, know that you have a friend. And over here, every episode, like I said, frozen tongue, frozen brain, everything is frozen, and I have notes to actually help me. Okay, so thanks for the thumbs up, and I'm going to answer this particular question right now with regards to AirAsia. Daniel, thank you for staying. I think with regards to AirAsia, one of the reasons why it moved up is that they actually found a vaccine, right? And once they actually found that particular vaccine, you can actually see that particular stock just jump up, okay? So that is a catalyst moving upwards. Now, I guess the negative catalyst is how long will it take for the drug to be approved by the FDA? It may take a couple of months. On top of that, how long would Malaysia take the cure to actually administer the cure to its people? It's going to take some time, right? And within that time, I feel that, and as we know that a lot of people kind of struggling economically. So I think to answer this question, I guess in a very roundabout way, is that in a very roundabout way is that there are more downside risks as opposed to any upside catalysts. So for right now, I would say just stay away from that stock for the time being. Just look out for this. Look out for the quarterly results. When the quarterly results come, As we know, the flight industry, a lot of their planes are grounded, right? So when the next quarterly result come, I suspect it may not be the best, right? And I suspect that they may have a sell down during the next quarterly results. As I mentioned to you, there are not much of flying activity. So so I think there will be a bit of dumping of that particular stock. Should the stock kind of move down, I'm going to revisit the particular stock. Okay. To be very honest, I'm going to tell you guys something. I actually was waiting for AirAsia's result. I was thinking that the stock will continue going down again, and that was my buy trigger for that particular stock. I was waiting for the quarterly results, to be very honest. And yet, but what happened, as we know, they actually came up with the vaccine before, and we could see the stock price move up. So over here, what I want to say is that there are, I think, more negative catalysts moving forward. Like I said, the administration of the drugs, the administration of the cure. Number two is that, the quarterly results, what may happen, I think it will not be it may not be an encouraging result. So I think that there may be more downside risk as opposed to upside. So I think, in so many words, what I want to say is wait for the quarterly results and then we'll take some action.